Here's what must be done to make Venezuela's transition to a democracy and economics to better navigate these turbulent times. Getting the battered, inflation-ridden Venezuelan economy functioning again is a daunting task, especially with the uncertainty of what government replaces the Maduro regime. But there are a handful of critical and positive moves that can be quickly pushed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio as he oversees Venezuela's critical transition to a genuine democracy. For starters, keep out the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Bringing in the IMF would be an easy but disastrous default move. The institution pushes toxic prescriptions that hinder robust economic growth, most notoriously its fixation on currency devaluations and higher taxes. A lingering, weak economy would eventually discredit a free market democratic government. Lowering the value of a currency is the very definition of monetary inflation. That's why a mighty good boost for the new Venezuela would be to dollarize the economy. That is, rapidly replace the virtually worthless currency, the bolivar, with the greenback. Two Latin American nations, Ecuador and El Salvador, did just that back in the early 2000s. The change has been a popular success. Argentina President Javier Milei promised to adopt the dollar as the country's official currency during his campaign 2 years ago. Unfortunately, like Eve tasting the apple, Milei didn't resist when the IMF serpent slithered into his garden, offering cash in return for Milei ditching his dollarization vow. The result was a damaging and totally unnecessary peso crisis this past fall that had Milei begging the U.S. for a multi-billion-dollar bailout. Given Argentina's sorry history with the peso, it's a program that is guaranteed to fail, thereby jeopardizing his other sweeping, courageous free market reforms. Venezuela should also enact a simple, low-rate Singapore-like income tax system, or even a straight-out flat tax, as countries like Estonia and Bulgaria have done.
What if Venezuela's long-awaited return to democracy didn't just restore freedom, but ignited one of the most dramatic economic turnarounds of the century? Transitions are fragile moments. Get the economics right and prosperity follows. Get them wrong, and hope evaporates fast. Venezuela's next chapter demands bold, disciplined choices that can rebuild trust, stabilize money, and unleash growth. Years of inflation, shortages, and mismanagement have left Venezuela's economy battered. As political change arrives, uncertainty will be everywhere. New leaders, new rules, new expectations. The priority is simple: restore confidence immediately. Without it, investment stalls, jobs vanish, and democracy itself comes under pressure. The first move is counterintuitive but critical. Resist the temptation to bring in the International Monetary Fund. IMF programs often default to higher taxes and currency devaluations policies that smother growth and punish ordinary citizens. A weak economy would quickly discredit a new democratic government. There's a faster, cleaner solution to inflation: dollarization. Replace the nearly worthless bolivar with the US dollar. Ecuador and El Salvador did this in the early 2000s, and the results were stability, lower inflation, and renewed confidence. Dollarization removes the temptation to print money and signals seriousness on day one. Recent history offers a cautionary tale. Promises of dollarization abandoned under IMF pressure led to yet another currency crisis. The lesson is clear: half measures invite chaos. Monetary credibility must be absolute. Next, overhaul the tax system. A low-rate Singapore-style income tax or even a flat tax like those in Estonia and Bulgaria would transform Venezuela overnight. Pair ultra-low taxes with a stable dollar, and Caracas becomes a magnet for global capital.
It would stimulate a powerful domestic boom, producing wealth from a far broader base than just its oil fields. Another confidence-building move would have the new government radically simplify the process of starting a legal business. This would cut out all the licenses and fees that plague would-be startups and are a nest of corruption. New Zealand and Denmark are real-world models on how this can be done. Secretary Rubio might also suggest that the new government take a look at setting up a wealth fund where a certain amount of oil and gas revenue would be deposited each year and managed like a mutual fund. After a period, to let the assets grow, annual dividends could be instituted and distributed to all individuals. That way, everyone would have a personal stake in the health of the nation's petroleum industry.
Society, not just in energy fields. Confidence also comes from simplicity. Starting a legal business should take days, not months. Cut licenses, eliminate fees, and dismantle corruption at the gate. New Zealand and Denmark show how powerful this can be. Venezuela should also create a national wealth fund. Deposit a portion of oil and gas revenues each year, invest them professionally, and after growth pay dividends directly to citizens. Alaska's model proves this works. Everyone gains a personal stake in national resources. And one final rule: no tariffs. Tariffs are taxes, and taxes on trade choke growth before it starts. Democracy needs more than ballots, it needs prosperity. With sound money, low taxes, open markets, and simple rules, Venezuela can rise faster than anyone expects. The opportunity is historic. The moment is now.